NLB is installed. Let's go and set up some network load balancing. To do this, I'm going to start on Tools, and I'm going to look for the Network Load Balancing Manager. Now, our first step is to add a new cluster of machines. We see that the session is started, but there's no clusters here as of yet, so we will add one. So I'm going to right-click Network Load Balancing Cluster and click New Cluster. Now, it's asking us to connect to a host that's going to be part of the cluster. So to do this, I'll select the first host here. I'll start with the East machine and click Connect. We don't have to add all machines to the cluster at once. We can add one at a time, two at a time. I'm just going to start with this one, finish creating the cluster, and then we'll go back and add some machines to it. So I'll go ahead and click Next. It's showing us that it detected this IP address, which is fine. For the initial host state, the default state is set to started. So we want to start this cluster as soon as we're done creating it. I'll go ahead and click Next. We need to set up an IP address for this cluster to share. Every member of the cluster is going to be sharing this IP address. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add, and I'll add one here. You just want to make sure that you double check and make sure that whatever IP address you're assigning to this cluster is not one that's either already taken or part of a DHCP scope. So I'll set this one up here. Almost forgot the last number. And so we'll click OK. We'll click Next. We'll set up a full internet name for this cluster. By the way, you'll notice for this course, the domain is called ccfcandles.local, Carmen's Candle Factory and the Candles Network. Now for the cluster operation mode, we can decide whether to set it to unicast, multicast, or IGMP multicast. Let's look over what these three cluster operation modes mean, and then we'll pick one.